The words still echoed in Marcus's head 6 months after the divorce was finalized. It was just for fun, Marcus. It didn't mean anything. Just for fun. As if their 12-year marriage, their vows, their shared dreams were all just background noise to her entertainment. He sat in his new apartment, smaller and quieter than the house they'd shared, staring at the rain streaking down the window. The divorce papers sat in a folder on his desk, a monument to betrayal wrapped in legal language. Sarah had been his college sweetheart. They'd built everything together, careers, a home, a life that looked perfect from the outside. Marcus worked as an architect, pouring his creativity into designing spaces where families could thrive. Sarah managed a boutique marketing firm, always charming, always surrounded by admirers. He'd been proud of her success, never suspicious of the late nights and weekend conferences, until he found the messages. Not one affair, but 3. Overlapping, casual, documented in text that treated infidelity like a hobby. When confronted, Sarah hadn't even tried to lie. She'd laughed, actually laughed, and said those words that would haunt him. It was just for fun. The divorce had been swift. Marcus wanted out, wanted to salvage whatever dignity remained. His lawyer had been efficient, and Sarah hadn't fought it. She'd seemed almost relieved, ready to continue her fun without the inconvenience of a marriage. Now Marcus was rebuilding. Therapy helped, though the betrayal still stung like an open wound. His friends rallied around him, and work provided a welcome distraction. He was designing a community center, pouring his pain into something beautiful, something lasting. Unlike his marriage. Then came the text messages. They started 3 weeks ago. Simple at first. Hope you're doing okay. Then longer. I miss you. I miss us. Marcus deleted them without responding. But Sarah was persistent. Voice messages followed, her voice cracking with what sounded like genuine emotion. I made the worst mistake of my life. I was broken, Marcus. I didn't know what I had until I lost it. His therapist warned him. His best friend Jake practically begged him to block her number. But there was a part of Marcus, the part that had loved her for 15 years, the part that remembered who she'd been before the betrayal, that wondered if people could really change. The call came on a Thursday evening. Marcus had been drinking whiskey, feeling melancholy when his phone rang. Against his better judgment, he answered. Marcus. Her voice was soft, vulnerable, in a way he hadn't heard in years. Please don't hang up. Just give me 5 minutes. He should have ended the call. Instead, he listened. Sarah talked about therapy, about discovering she'd been self-sabotaging, about childhood trauma she'd never addressed. She talked about realizing that her fun was actually a desperate attempt to feel something, anything, in a life where she'd felt numb. She talked about losing the only man who'd ever really loved her, and how that loss had finally broken through her emotional walls. I'm not asking you to take me back, she said, her voice thick with tears. I know I don't deserve that. I just need you to know that I understand now. I understand what I destroyed, and I'm so sorry. Marcus felt something crack inside his chest, not his heart breaking again, but perhaps the beginning of something shifting. He didn't respond, just listened to her breathe on the other end of the line. If you could ever forgive me, she whispered, not for us to be together, but just so I can have some peace. I'd be grateful. I'd be so grateful. They talked for 2 hours that night. It felt like the old days, when they'd stayed up late sharing dreams and fears. Sarah seemed different, humbler, more self-aware. When they finally said goodbye, Marcus felt confused and cautiously hopeful. Maybe people could change. Maybe there was a path to forgiveness, even if not reconciliation. He had no idea that Sarah's games were far from over. The coffee shop was neutral territory, a place neither of them had frequented during their marriage. Marcus arrived early, his stomach churning with anxiety. 2 months had passed since that first phone call. 2 months of gradually increasing contact. Text messages, then phone calls, then finally this, a face-to-face meeting. Sarah walked in looking different. Her hair was shorter, styled more conservatively. She wore minimal makeup, jeans, and a simple sweater instead of her usual designer clothes. She looked vulnerable, almost fragile, and when she saw Marcus, her eyes filled with tears. "Thank you for coming," she said, sliding into the seat across from him. "I wasn't sure you would." They talked for hours. Sarah spoke about her therapy sessions, about confronting the reasons she'd sabotaged their marriage. She'd discovered patterns from her childhood, an emotionally distant father, a mother who'd had affairs that she'd unconsciously replicated. She showed him her therapy journal, pages filled with painful self-reflection. Marcus found himself softening. This wasn't the flippant woman who dismissed their marriage as irrelevant to her entertainment. This was someone doing hard work, someone genuinely trying to change. His therapist had warned him about being too trusting, but Marcus had always believed in redemption. If someone truly wanted to change, shouldn't they get that chance? The meetings continued. Coffee became lunch. Lunch became dinner. They talked about everything except getting back together, but the possibility hung in the air between them like morning mist. Sarah never pushed, never demanded. She seemed content just to be in his presence, to rebuild trust slowly. "I'm not asking for anything," she told him one evening as they walked through the park where they'd had their first date. "I just want you to know that I'm not that person anymore. The therapy helped me see how much I was hurting myself by hurting you." Marcus's friend Jake remained skeptical. "Leopards don't change their spots, man. She's playing you again, just with a different strategy." But Marcus saw genuine change. Sarah had cut ties with her old social circle, the friends who'd enabled her behavior. She'd become more focused on meaningful work rather than surface-level success. She volunteered at a women's shelter on weekends, helping others who'd made destructive choices. 6 months after their first coffee meeting, they kissed. It happened spontaneously, at the end of an evening spent looking at old photo albums from their early years together. The kiss felt familiar and new at the same time, filled with nostalgia and possibility. "I don't want to rush this," Marcus said, pulling back. "I need to be sure." "I understand," Sarah replied, touching his face gently. "I'll wait as long as it takes. You're worth waiting for." They began dating again, slowly rebuilding intimacy. Sarah was patient, understanding when Marcus had moments of doubt or flashbacks to her betrayal. She never became defensive, never minimized his pain. It seemed like a miracle, like they were being given a second chance that few couples received. Marcus started to believe again. He introduced Sarah to his new friends, the ones he'd made after the divorce. He brought her to his office, showing her the community center design he'd completed. She praised his work with genuine admiration, without the distracted air she'd had during their marriage. 8 months after their reconnection, Marcus invited Sarah to move back in, not to their old house that had been sold, but to a new apartment they chose together. A fresh start in a new space. "Are you sure?" Sarah asked, though her eyes shone with hope. "I'm sure," Marcus said. "People can change. You've proven that to me." The first month was beautiful. They cooked together, talked for hours, made love with a passion that felt renewed. Sarah seemed present in a way she never had been before, genuinely invested in their relationship. But then Marcus noticed small things. Sarah spending more time on her phone, texting at odd hours, new passwords on her devices, working late again, though she insisted it was just a busy season at her firm. He tried to push the doubts away. He was being paranoid, seeing patterns where none existed. Sarah had changed. She'd done the work. This was different. Until the night he came home early from a business trip and found her phone unlocked on the kitchen counter. A message was visible on the screen. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Last night was incredible. Marcus's hands trembled as he picked up the phone. He knew he shouldn't look, but he couldn't stop himself. He opened the messages and watched his second chance shatter like glass. The messages told a story Marcus had lived before, but somehow his version cut deeper. Sarah hadn't changed at all. She'd just gotten better at hiding. There were 3 different men in her recent messages. One was a colleague she'd started sleeping with 2 months after moving back in. Another was someone she'd met at a bar during one of Marcus's work trips. The third was an ex-boyfriend she'd reconnected with on social media. The messages were explicit, casual, and horrifyingly familiar. She talked about the thrill of sneaking around, the excitement of keeping secrets. In one message, she'd written to the colleague, "Marcus is so trusting now. It's almost too easy. But that's what makes it fun. He has no idea." Marcus sat on the couch, Sarah's phone in his hand, feeling something inside him die. Not his love for her, that had already been mortally wounded, but his faith in redemption. His belief that people could fundamentally change. She'd played him perfectly, using therapy language and fake vulnerability to manipulate his compassion. The apartment door opened. Sarah walked in, laughing at something on her own phone. She must have gotten a replacement. When she saw Marcus sitting in the dim light, holding her old device, her face went pale. "Marcus, don't." His voice was calm, almost emotionless. The rage would come later. Right now, he felt numb. "Just don't. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think." He held up the phone. "I read them, Sarah. All of them. Every message, every lie, every time you called me too trusting behind my back." Sarah's mask slipped. For a moment, he saw calculation in her eyes. She was weighing her options, deciding which strategy might still work. Then she seemed to realize there was no way out. "Okay," she said, her voice flat. "You want the truth? Fine. The therapy was real. The childhood trauma was real. But changing? That was never going to happen, Marcus. I liked the excitement. I liked the variety. I liked the thrill of getting away with it. Then why come back?" Marcus stood, his legs unsteady. "Why put us both through this?" Sarah shrugged, and the gesture was so casual it took his breath away. "Because I missed what we had. The stability, the home base. You're a good man, Marcus. You made me feel safe. But safe is boring. I wanted both the security of you and the excitement of them. That's not how relationships work. Maybe not for you." She sat down, seemingly unbothered by the destruction unfolding around her. "Some people are monogamous. I'm not. I tried to be for you, but it's like asking a bird not to fly. This is who I am." Marcus felt clarity wash over him like cold water. "Then this is who I'm not compatible with. Pack your things. You have until tomorrow morning." "Marcus, no." He was surprised by the strength in his voice. "You had a second chance. You had my trust, my forgiveness, my love. And you treated it like a joke. Again, we're done, Sarah. Permanently." That night, Marcus stayed at Jake's apartment while Sarah packed. His friend didn't say, "I told you so," just offered whiskey and silence. Marcus felt hollowed out, but underneath the pain was something unexpected. Relief. He'd given Sarah every possible chance to be different. He'd believed in her, trusted her, opened his heart again. And she'd proven definitively that she was incapable of change. There was freedom in that finality. No more what-ifs, no more second-guessing. He could finally, truly let go. The next morning, Sarah's things were gone. She'd left her keys on the counter with a note. "I'm sorry. I'm not who you needed me to be. But I'm not sorry for who I am." Marcus crumpled the note and threw it away. Then he called a locksmith, changed his number, and blocked Sarah on every platform. His lawyer sent a cease and contact letter. Marcus was done giving chances. The following weeks were hard. He grieved not for Sarah, but for his own naivety, for the time he'd wasted on someone who saw relationships as games. He threw himself into work, designing a new residential complex that would become his masterpiece. The blueprints reflected his emotional state's strong foundations, protective walls, but plenty of windows letting in light. 3 months after Sarah left, Marcus joined a hiking group. He needed to get out of his head, to remember there was beauty in the world beyond betrayal. The group met every Saturday morning, tackling trails in the mountains outside the city. That's where he met Elena. She was standing at the trailhead, adjusting her backpack when Marcus arrived. Their eyes met, and she smiled, a genuine, warm smile that didn't promise anything except maybe a good day hiking. "First time with the group?" she asked. "Yeah," Marcus replied. "You?" "Third week." Fair warning. Tom leads us on the hard trails. Hope you're ready for a workout. They ended up hiking near each other, falling into easy conversation. Elena was a teacher, funny and grounded, with a directness Marcus found refreshing. When he mentioned he was an architect, she didn't gush or flirt. She just asked intelligent questions about his work. At the summit, sharing trail mix and taking in the view, Marcus realized he was genuinely happy for the first time in over a year. And Sarah hadn't crossed his mind once. The hiking group became Marcus's refuge. Every Saturday, he'd meet Elena and the others at various trailheads, pushing his body up mountains while his mind gradually healed. Elena was different from anyone he'd dated before, including Sarah. She was steady where Sarah had been mercurial, honest where Sarah had been manipulative, present where Sarah had been distracted. They became friends first. Real friends, without the undercurrent of romantic strategy or games. Elena talked about her divorce 5 years earlier. Her ex-husband had been an alcoholic who refused treatment. She'd loved him, but learned the hard lesson that you can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. "I spent years trying to fix him," she told Marcus one afternoon as they sat by a mountain stream. "I thought if I just loved him enough, was patient enough, it would make a difference. But he had to want to change for himself, not for me. When I finally accepted that, I left." Marcus found himself sharing his story too. Not just the facts, but the feelings, the betrayal, the false hope of reconciliation, the second betrayal that had cut even deeper. Elena listened without judgment, without trying to fix him or offer platitudes. "That's brutal," she said simply. "I'm sorry you went through that twice. I feel stupid for believing she changed." "You're not stupid. You're compassionate. Those are different things." Elena looked at him with clear brown eyes. "The problem isn't that you believed in second chances. The problem is that she was never sincere about wanting one." Something shifted in Marcus that day. He'd been carrying shame about being fooled again, but Elena was right. His capacity for forgiveness wasn't a flaw. Sarah's inability to be truthful was. They started spending time together outside the hiking group. Coffee after work, dinner at small restaurants, a museum visit where Elena patiently explained the historical context of exhibits while Marcus analyzed the architecture. It felt natural, unforced. There was attraction, Marcus couldn't deny that, but there was also genuine friendship and respect. "I should tell you," Marcus said one evening over Thai food, "I'm not looking to jump into anything serious right now. I'm still processing everything with Sarah." Elena smiled. "Good, because neither am I. My last relationship ended 6 months ago. He was a nice guy, but he wanted different things, kids, suburbs, the whole package. I'm 42 and happy with my life as it is. We parted as friends. So what are we doing?" Marcus asked, gesturing between them. "Enjoying each other's company?" Elena suggested. "Getting to know someone interesting? No pressure, no expectations, just seeing where things go?" "That sounds perfect." Over the next several months, Marcus felt himself coming back to life. His community center project was completed and received local acclaim. He took on new commissions, exciting projects that challenged his creativity. His social life expanded beyond Jake to include Elena's friends, fellow teachers with sharp wit and genuine warmth. And slowly, carefully, his relationship with Elena deepened. Their first kiss happened naturally, at the end of an evening spent stargazing in the mountains. Their physical relationship developed gradually, built on trust and genuine connection, rather than passion alone. Elena was patient with Marcus's occasional moments of doubt, when old wounds would resurface. "I'm terrified of being wrong about someone again," he admitted one night, lying beside her. "That's understandable," Elena said, lacing her fingers through his. "But Marcus, I'm not Sarah. I don't play games. I don't cheat. If I'm not happy, I'll tell you directly. If I want something different, we'll talk about it. I'm too old and too tired for drama. How do I know for sure?" "You don't. Not with absolute certainty." She turned to face him. "But here's what you can know. I show up consistently. I'm honest even when it's uncomfortable. My friends have known me for decades. You can ask them about my character. I don't have a trail of destruction behind me. And most importantly, I value what we're building too much to risk it." Marcus believed her, not blindly, as he had with Sarah's second act, but with eyes wide open. He saw the evidence of Elena's character in her actions, in the way she treated everyone from waiters to her students, in the consistency between her words and behavior. A year after meeting Elena, Marcus realized he was in love. Not the consuming, passionate love he'd felt for young Sarah, but something steadier and deeper, a love built on friendship, respect, and shared values. He was happy in a way that didn't require drama or intensity. He was simply, genuinely content. That's when Sarah reappeared. The email came to his work address. She must have found it on his architecture firm's website. The subject line read, "I finally understand what I lost." Marcus stared at it for a long moment before deleting it without reading. Then he called IT and had her email address blocked from the company system. 2 days later, she showed up at his office. Marcus was leaving for the day when he saw her in the lobby. Sarah looked different again, older, tired, with none of the polish she'd always maintained. For a moment, he felt a pang of something that might have been pity. "You need to leave," he said calmly. "Marcus, please. Just 5 minutes. No." "I know I don't deserve it. You're right. You don't." He walked past her toward the exit. She followed. "I've changed. Really changed this time. I'm in a different therapy program. I've been celibate for 8 months. I'm working on myself." Marcus stopped and turned to face her. "Sarah, I don't care." She blinked, seeming shocked by his complete indifference. "I don't care if you've changed," he continued. "I don't care about your therapy, or your revelations, or your regrets. You had 2 chances with me. You destroyed both of them. Whatever journey you're on now, it doesn't include me. But we had something special. We had something I thought was special. You had a home base for your games. Those aren't the same thing." Sarah's face crumpled. "I see you with her. That teacher. I see you looking at her the way you used to look at me. And it kills me, Marcus. It kills me to know I threw that away. That's something you'll have to live with." His voice wasn't cruel, just factual. "I hope you do change, Sarah. I hope you figure out how to be happy without hurting people. But that's your work to do, not mine. We're done. Please don't contact me again." He walked away, and this time, she didn't follow Dot. Sarah sat in her car outside Marcus's office building, watching him drive away. Her hands gripped the steering wheel, so tightly her knuckles turned white. Through her own careful social media stalking and coincidental visits to places she knew he frequented, she'd watched Marcus's new life unfold over the past 18 months. She'd seen him hiking with that woman Elena, seen them at restaurants, laughing over shared meals, seen the way he looked at her with complete trust, without the guardedness that had marked his final months with Sarah. She'd even followed them once to an art gallery opening, watching from a distance as Marcus proudly introduced Elena to his colleagues as his girlfriend. The pain was unbearable, but it was pain of her own creation, and Sarah knew it. Her therapist, the real one this time, not the one she'd used as a prop for manipulation, had helped her understand that she had something called avoidant attachment style, compounded by narcissistic tendencies. She'd spent her whole life pushing away genuine intimacy while craving its benefits. The affairs hadn't been about the other men at all. They'd been about sabotaging something good before it could hurt her. Except her strategy had backfired spectacularly. She'd destroyed the best thing in her life, not once, but twice. And now she had to watch Marcus give to someone else what she'd been too broken to accept. The worst part was seeing how happy he was. In their marriage, even in the good years, Marcus had carried a subtle tension, as if always waiting for the other shoe to drop. His instincts had been right, Sarah realized now. On some level, he'd always known she was going to hurt him. But with Elena, that tension was gone. He moved through the world lighter, freer, genuinely at peace. Sarah's life, meanwhile, had become exactly what she'd feared: empty. After Marcus kicked her out the second time, she'd continued her pattern for a few months, dating multiple men, chasing the high of new attraction, treating relationships like a game. But the thrill had faded. Without Marcus to come home to, without the stability of someone who truly loved her, the affairs felt hollow. She'd lost her job after a relationship with a coworker ended badly and he filed a harassment complaint. Her friendships had dissolved. Most had been superficial anyway, based on partying and gossip rather than genuine connection. Her family, exhausted by her patterns, had established firm boundaries. Her mother had said, "I love you, Sarah, but I can't watch you destroy your life anymore. Call me when you're ready to be honest with yourself." That had been the wake-up call. Sarah had checked herself into an intensive therapy program, this time genuinely committed to change. 6 months of hard work had helped her understand her patterns, but understanding didn't erase consequences. She'd burned the bridge with Marcus so thoroughly that not even ashes remained. Now, 18 months into her actual recovery, Sarah was sober, celibate, and profoundly alone. She'd started volunteering at a women's shelter genuinely this time, not as performance helping other women who'd sabotaged their own lives. She'd gone back to school part-time, studying psychology, thinking maybe she could use her painful lessons to help others. She'd rebuilt a tentative relationship with her mother and sister, but none of it filled the Marcus-shaped hole in her life. Sarah started her car and drove to the coffee shop where she'd staged her comeback 2 years ago. She ordered tea and sat by the window, watching couples walk by hand in hand. She wondered if any of them knew how lucky they were, if any of them understood that trust was the most precious thing you could give another person. Her phone buzzed. It was her sponsor from her codependency support group. "How are you doing today?" "I saw him," Sarah typed back. "Saw them together. She's everything I pretended to be. Genuine, stable, trustworthy. That must be painful. I earned this pain. That's what makes it unbearable." Her sponsor didn't contradict her, which Sarah appreciated. They'd taught her that true accountability meant accepting that some mistakes have permanent consequences. Marcus didn't owe her forgiveness. He didn't owe her anything. She'd had 2 chances, 2 more than most people get, and she destroyed both. 3 months later, Sarah heard through mutual acquaintances that Marcus had proposed to Elena. They were engaged, planning a small wedding in the mountains where they'd met. Sarah cried when she heard. Not tears of manipulation, but genuine grief for the life she could have had. She wrote Marcus one final letter handwritten. No return address. She didn't send it to his home or office. She gave it to Jake, Marcus's best friend, who she ran into at a bookstore. "Please give this to him," she said. "I won't contact him again. I just need him to have this." Jake looked skeptical, but took the letter. In it, Sarah wrote the truth she should have admitted years ago. "Marcus, I know you don't want to hear from me. I'm not writing this expecting anything, not forgiveness, not contact, nothing. I just need you to know that I understand now what I destroyed. You offered me unconditional love, and I treated it like a game. You gave me a second chance I didn't deserve, and I proved I hadn't changed. You deserve so much better than what I gave you. I'm genuinely happy you found Elena, from what I've observed. And yes, I know that sounds creepy, but I've been working on honesty. She's everything you deserved all along. Someone who sees your worth and doesn't take it for granted. Someone who shows up honestly. Someone who won't spend years regretting that she destroyed the best thing in her life. I'm getting help. Real help this time. I'm learning to be alone, to find worth in myself, rather than in the chaos of multiple relationships. I'm learning what I should have learned decades ago, but I can't undo what I did to you. To us. I hope you have the most beautiful wedding. I hope you have the marriage I could never give you. I hope you never doubt her the way you had to doubt me. You deserve every happiness. This is goodbye. I promise. I won't contact you again. I'll carry the lesson of losing you for the rest of my life, and maybe I'll become someone who could have deserved you. But that person came too late. Thank you for loving me when I was unlovable. I'm sorry, I couldn't love you the way you deserved." Sarah. Marcus read the letter once, then put it in a drawer. He showed it to Elena, who held his hand as he processed it. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Sad for her," Marcus said, "but I don't feel guilty, and I don't want to respond. That chapter is closed." "Good," Elena said simply. 6 months later, on a crisp autumn day in the mountains, Marcus married Elena, surrounded by close friends and family. As he said his vows promising loyalty, honesty, and presence, he felt no doubt, no fear. He looked at Elena's steady, loving gaze and knew with absolute certainty that this was real. Sarah heard about the wedding through social media posts from mutual acquaintances. She looked at the photos once, Marcus looking happier than she'd ever seen him. Elena radiant in a simple dress, then closed the app. She went to her therapy session and worked through her grief. She continued her volunteer work. She kept moving forward, learning to live with the permanent consequences of her choices. Sometimes, the price of playing games is losing the only prize that ever mattered. Sarah had learned that lesson too late, and she would carry that knowledge for the rest of her life. Marcus, meanwhile, had learned a different lesson, that real love doesn't play games, doesn't need second chances, because it gets it right the first time. He'd found that love with Elena, and he would never take it for granted.